Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. And on today's video we're going to make a double desk. It's a project I've had in mind for a while and I'm just now getting around to it. Sorry about the camera view being sideways right here. It doesn't last long. I didn't realize it was recording in portrait, so that is my bad. But anyways, back to the desk. Yeah, it's been a project that I've been needing to do for a while, and I'm finally getting around to it. And it took a couple days to get it done due to rain and work and things like that. So what you just saw was me cutting up a 4x8 sheet of 3/4 inch cabinet grade plywood, and really all I did is cut 4 sides. So I'm making 2 cabinets basically, and I've got these drawers that I've had kicking around for a little while. I got them from a cabinet shop, and they just gave them to me. They were giving away all kinds of stuff, and that was part of it. But all I'm doing is using those cabinets as the bracing, or not those cabinets, but those shelves, excuse me, the drawers, whatever they're called, as the main support, because they're strong enough to hold the weight and keep everything together. So I put one on top and one on bottom, and I face them in opposite directions because there's going to be one person sitting on one side and one person sitting on the other. So the easiest way to do it was to just nail these panels to it. I had to put a spacer block in there, as you've seen, to fill in the space, but it worked out well. So this here is just the filler panels that go on top and bottom, which is the back of the opposite drawer, just to fill in that space. Then I give it a good sanding before I bring it in. I do both of them that way. And for the top, I'm using edge banding, just irons on, and I actually run out of it and you make my own, which is usually what I do anyways, but I wanted this tabletop to look, fairly decent, so I decided to actually buy some edge banding and do it that way. But the other way looks just as good too. But this stuff, there's no real technique to it other than just get it on there. It's not that hard to do. Just try to keep it nice and even. That way you have less to sand and plane down in the end. So that's basically what I did. And you can see here I'm using a little hand plane and sanding boards to get this nice and flat before I take it out to put the stain on it. So giving it its final sand here, getting all the dust off so I can go ahead and stain it. And that's just a weathered gray is the name of that stain, if anybody wants to know. It's by Varathane, and I pretty much use it all the time for pretty much everything because I don't like staining things, period. So when I do, it's usually that weathered gray. Because if I want a wood a certain color, I'm going to buy that wood that's that color, unless you don't want to spend a lot of money, and then you buy you buy pine and stain it whatever you want. But what you just seen there was me cutting runners. Those are oak, so those are hardwood runners, and what those are going to do they're going to be the supports for the shelves. So I'm putting a middle shelf in there, and what I'm going to do with that is make it to where it can slide back and forth, so it's not just going to sit there. But what I'm doing is I'm putting one on, and then on the back side you'll see that I put a board up. And what that board's for is to keep me in line when I'm nailing. Now, hindsight, I should have nailed through the inside to the out. I wouldn't have had to worry about that board, and you wouldn't have seen the nails. But in the end, when I paint it and fill the holes, you can't see it anyways. And just put a little paste wax in there to make sure everything slides nice and easy. So I just put a decent amount in there, and here I am playing drawer shuffle, finding out which drawer goes where, because this has been sitting there for a minute with the top on it, and we've been kind of using it, so that's why I needed to get back to this project. But so I'd already stained the top. I brought it back in and put it on, see how it was gonna fit, and I just tacked it off with a couple of brad nails for the time being, just to get it in place. Then I take these are the oh gosh, what are they called? You know what they are. I was just working on them. Anyways, these things that I cannot remember the name of I'm putting handle holds in them at the moment. I'm just using a 1-inch Forstner bit, and I think the center of it's about 1.5 inches from the edge. It's just where my hand felt like it was going to be good for a pull. That's where I placed this. So basically what I do is I drill 2 1-inch holes, exact same distance apart on all of them, and I'll connect them with the jigsaw, make straight lines, and then connect it with the jigsaw. Shelves, by the way, these are called shelves, sliding shelves. And that's a homemade little drum sander, easy to make. I made several of them, and those come in real handy. But yeah, I cleaned it out with that, a file, and some sandpaper. And in this clip, I am cutting my strips. I told you I ran out of edge banding. I'm cutting my strips for the drawers, or for the shelves. So I had enough to do everything else but the shelves. So I went ahead and cut some hardwood into thin strips, and put it on. Now this one I put on with tape, and I think 2 more I did, but usually you can use a regular clamp, just wrap a rubber band around it, and it becomes a edge clamp. It's so much cheaper than buying the bandy clamps. I love the bandy clamps, don't get me wrong, but they're just too expensive. I'm not going to spend upwards of $10 on one little spring clamp, so I'll make my own. There's several ways to make them too. So, and here I'm actually going ahead and cleaning up. This is the next day. I'm cleaning up the banding that I put on, the shop made banding. So here's a good shot of it, so you can see that it actually turns out really well and looks really good. I actually like it better than I do the iron-on, because you can sand it down and get a better contour than you can with the other. When you sand the other, you see the adhesion, the film on the back, and you can sand that down, but you can still see it no matter what. It seems like it's always visible. And there I am using my own shop-made paint pods, or I'm not sure what they're called. I don't know what they're called, but they're just standoffs. I think I'm going to make a video showing how to make those. It's fairly simple. You get the idea just from the picture. But I'm going to make a video that elaborates a little bit more on it. So I'm back inside now with the desk, and I'm putting the paint on. I'm just going to show this one bit, I promise, because painting is boring. But yeah, I think I ended up doing 2 coats on this whole thing, and I really don't like painting. But so here's the final project. In the end, I actually ended up putting a power outlet on one side. That way it was easy access to power, which is a simple thing to do, but it adds so much usability to it. So you can see the drawers, they slide out both sides. The handles turned out great. Paint did as well. There's a couple more things that I'd like to do to this in the end, but pretty much sky's the limit on it. The drawers work out well. The only problem is that overhang gets in the way on the upper drawers, so obviously that's my side. My wife gets the other side. These baskets that you're looking at right here, they fit in there perfect, and I make these often. I'm actually about to make a few more projects with those and show people how to make those on my channel too. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope it wasn't too fast, or it didn't explain enough. It didn't. Leave me a message and I'll help you out on any part that I can. It did kind of go kind of fast, but I apologize for that. I thank you guys for subscribing. If you haven't, please subscribe. Here's a final picture of it, and I will catch you guys on the next video.